Yo, what's going on, family? There is a lot of talk about supplementation and which ones you need to take. There's a lot of information out there, but there's a lot of misinformation out there. Well, today I'm going to be going over my top 3 supplements that I think you need to maximize your muscle building potential. Okay, so what we're not gonna do is venture out into the realm of unnatural supplementation. I am 100% completely natural, and this is all gonna be based on not only my experience, my research, but also what I use for my clients specifically, especially looking at the past 8 years of me being a personal trainer and online coach. But Sky, what technically classifies as natural? You know, that's definitely a topic for another video, so without further ado, let's get into number 1. And that supplement is going to be protein powder. Now, protein powder is one of those ones I don't necessarily think it's a supplement, because in all reality, it's just powdered food, which kind of sounds gross when you think about it that way. Protein is the building blocks to build muscle, and of course, I would much rather you be able to get protein or enough protein from your diet specifically, but hey, supplementing protein is never a bad thing. Maybe you don't have an appetite, maybe you're just pressed for time, maybe if you're someone like me who's plant-based or vegetarian and you need some other means to get enough protein in, either way, this is gonna be a good choice for you. Typically, you wanna stick between 1.7 grams per pound of lean body mass all the way up to 1.5 grams per pound of lean body mass. You'll hear a lot of people say to stick with 1 gram per pound of body weight, which is a good recommendation, but I really don't think that's the end all be all. Since we're on the topic of daily requirements of protein, if your goal is to maximize, optimize, fully engage the amount of muscle building potential that you may or may not have, you want to have 5 spaced out protein feedings per day to maximize protein synthesis. However, I don't think that is practical for a lot of people, so just focus on hitting your daily requirements over a 24-hour period and you'll be good to go, whether that's 2 meals, 3 meals, 4 meals, 5 meals, etc. Now, there's a few forms of protein that I want to go over and make sure you understand what the difference is. You have whey protein, you have casein protein, and then you also have plant-based protein. With whey protein being the fastest to absorb into your body, casein being the slowest and allows for slow digestion over time, and the typical recommendation is to consume this at night so you don't really go into muscle protein breakdown, which on that topic, I personally think it would be best to consume a whey casein protein blend just to reap the benefits of both, or consuming whey protein with milk. And then we have plant-based protein. You have soy, sweet potato, pea protein, all of these different options to accommodate different people. Now, an issue does get brought up when it comes to protein absorption rate and amino acid profile. Hear me out, gram for gram, animal-based protein has a higher absorption rate and has a more complete amino acid profile, which seen at face value leads a lot of people to steer away from vegan or plant-based protein powders. However, this is looking at protein consumed in isolation. This is not, I repeat, this is not looking at an entire nutrition protocol to make sure you're covering your bases. If you take into consideration the fact that carbohydrates and fat consumed in a moderate amount have a protein sparing effect, because your body will utilize the energy from the other macronutrients, the other calories for lack of a better term, to help synthesize protein. Granted, you're consuming enough protein, you will be totally fine on whichever protein you choose to consume. And if you are plant-based, vegetarian, or even if whey protein or animal-based protein doesn't really sit well with your stomach, simply just bumping up the amount of protein that you're intaking will be more than enough to get you covered. Is what it is. Before we get into supplement number 2, I'm gonna ask that you like the video and comment what top 3 supplements do you recommend or are currently taking right now, if any. And I do post every single day, so drop a subscribe if you want more content like this. Supplement number 2, and let me know if you saw this one coming, but it's gonna be creatine monohydrate. Creatine monohydrate is by far the most studied supplement out there and has the most literature behind it when it comes to its proven effects. Now, how creatine monohydrate works is it does pull water into the muscle. This is not, I repeat, this is not subcutaneously, like beneath the skin. This isn't like bloat water. This is water pulled into the muscle. This is gonna make the muscle look fuller, harder, and actually help it to perform a lot better. When a muscle is saturated or fully saturated with creatine specifically, it will be better at producing ATP, which stands for Adenosine Triphosphate. This is energy, the energy that your body produces. And if you have more energy, you're gonna be able to do a few more reps or perform better in the gym. That better performance performance in the gym is going to lead to more gains, and who doesn't want that? All you really need is 3 to 5 grams a day, which brings me to my next point. A common question that I get asked is, do you need to load creatine? Simply because it does take a couple weeks for you to really reach full saturation within your muscles and reap all the benefits that we're explaining right now. As per my recommendation of 3 to 5 grams, a loading phase would consist of consuming 10-15 grams for a shorter period of time and then pulling back once you reach full saturation. And a good way to tell that is a jump up in weight of 2 to like 4 pounds. Now remember, other lifestyle factors, other diet factors should be in check before you actually jump to that conclusion. But creatine takes the cake for number 2. Now last and most certainly not least is gonna be caffeine. Now the main benefits of caffeine are increased power output, increased amount of volume that you can handle, and a decrease in the amount of fatigue that you're experiencing. And I want to touch on this decrease in fatigue really quick. A study done in 2012 specifically got 2 groups, one with caffeine, one with placebo, and within those groups, they were divided into sleep deprived and not sleep deprived. Not only did the caffeine group outperform the people who were in the placebo group, but the people who weren't sleep deprived, as we can tell, definitely outperformed the people who were sleep deprived, which is interesting. Now, I'm not gonna go out there and say like sleep is not important, but at the end of the day, a good quick pick-me-up is gonna be good for your performance in the gym. Another little benefit of caffeine is just your increased energy expenditure. At the end of the day, guys, caffeine gives you energy. And honestly, it's one of the most active ingredients, or it is the most active ingredient in most fat burners and other things promoting thermogenesis. This increase in energy expenditure, along with caffeine's appetite suppressing effects, can definitely result in a leaner physique overall. Now, one really big downside to caffeine is your increase in tolerance to it. Like, it's one of those things that just simply increasing the dose isn't necessarily gonna result in the same effect over time. Now, I don't necessarily take caffeine every day. I'll try and save it and reserve it for the times where I do need it, like need it, for lack of a better term. But if you're one of those people who needs to take it on a regular basis, I recommend after 4 to 6 weeks, coming off of it for, let's say, a little less than a week should be more than enough to get you right back in the game. However, I do have one more pitfall, and as we know, if you take caffeine late at night, it can really mess with your sleep, which is why I want to bring up a little supplement called L-Theanine, which is shown to soften the effects of the caffeine aftermath. So how do you go about supplementing it on a pretty regular basis? The most popular way to intake caffeine is in the form of a pre-workout. Well, that's definitely not the most popular. Like, you know how popular coffee is? That's definitely beside the point. But guys, really quick, a lethal dose, like a dose that can dang near kill you, is about a tablespoon of caffeine. Pure caffeine. So my recommendation is gonna be very far below that. It's gonna be anywhere from 300 to 600 milligrams of caffeine. Now, I don't necessarily recommend going over a gram like at all whatsoever. So if you do find yourself needing upwards of that much caffeine to just kind of function throughout your day, you should probably cycle off of it for a little bit. Now guys, remember, supplementation is just the tip of that pyramid. Your diet, training, nutrition protocol, sleep, management of stress are all factors that outweigh supplementation from the get-go. Now, I am an affiliate with First Form, and every single one of these supplements is going to be linked in the description box below. So if you do want to support me directly or anything that I'm associated with, you can use those links, or you can just do your own thing and look for these supplements individually. As for coaching, that'll be the first link in the description. And hey, peace, love, and gains. We're out. All right. I still got to get used to this.